All LNG landowner matters to be heard in Tari. ILG stakes claim as rightful Medang town landowners. And police vehicles grounded for over 2 years.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. All court matters over land disputes involving the multi-billion Kina PNG LNG project will be heard at the Tari National Court and not in Port Moresby. Petroleum Minister Fabian Pock told resource owners in Como, Hela Province, that the delay in the release of royalty payments is because of ongoing court cases over the last 10 years.
The directive to have all land dispute matters involving the PNG LNG project transferred to Tari National Court is a measure taken by the Petroleum Minister to have all court matters sorted out within Hela Province. While in Como, Minister Pock announced the 8 cases that were before the National Court in Port Moresby have been withdrawn to allow the landowner beneficiaries identification process or lobbied exercise to go ahead.
I'll write to the Chief Justice to bring all the court cases back to Tari, because this is where the land is. This is where the people are. So this is, if the court is going to happen, it's going to happen. So whoever in Port Moresby is filing the case must come to Tari and say, this is my land. This is my land. I'm taking the matter to court. We've had enough of people, landowners who go to Port Moresby and claim, because the guy was trying to take the court in Port Moresby. I told him, I was in Aceh and I didn't see you. I told him to come in the charter, but he didn't come, you see. I said, come, no, so let's go. And the people, you tell the people, this is my land. Why are you leaving me out? So everything will happen here, and I'm determined to make sure. If whatever happens, my lawyers will always go to court and move the cases back to Tari.
The continuous court battles against landowners in Hela have resulted in the delay of the lobbied exercise for over 10 years and the release of outstanding equity payments. From the equity payments, 30% will be paid out in cash, 40% will be for community projects, and the remaining 30% will be for the future generation.
The Hela leaders, the leaders of PDL1 and PDL7 have cooperated with us to make this thing work. If there was no cooperation, this thing would not work. But in the past, people tried to do it in Port Moresby. That's where it all went wrong. So I told them that I will come to Aceh, and because they know the land boundaries, they know who wants the mountain, they know. None of us here will know. So it's for them to tell us who lives in here and who owns it, and that's actually what happened, and that is how we concluded. Because if you done Port Moresby, it took 10 years and so much money been spent, and like in the case here, we only spent about 500,000, and we've not in the millions, but about 500,000. We have completed it because of the fact that we give the ownership back to the people to tell us who lives in that area.
These funds have been accumulating since 2014 when PNG LNG started production. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Today marks the 68th year since the creation of the 1st Battalion of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. The 1st Royal Pacific Island Regiment, based out of Tauranga, has served as the founding unit of PNGDF on the front line for many operations. Its 68th anniversary coincided with the first anniversary for the battalion's unit motto, which was put up at the entrance into Tauranga Barracks in May 2018.
A commemoration service held in Tauranga this morning included the trooping of the regimental colours, an important annual tradition that the men and women of the 1st Battalion highly value, carefully guard and treat with respect. The low-key celebration today also honoured other members who had passed on while in the line of duty or through illnesses. The 1st Battalion was created on March 11, 1951 and became part of the Australian Army because of the political instability in the Asia-Pacific region. Its Delta company moved to Wewak in 1965 under the then PNG Military District Headquarters and formed what is now known as the 2nd Royal Pacific Islands Regiment.
We are a national organization. We represent 1,000 tribes. You clear? So it is always important for us to remember this. On this day, when we reflect on the past, and we look forward to the future, understand that we represent the 1,000 tribes of our country. That's us, PNGDF, and especially one PIR.
The 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment remains the unit the Papua New Guinea Defence Force has been born out of. Since 1951, it has been involved in a number of security operations, both locally and on the international level. These include Vanuatu in the 1980s, the Bougainville crisis in the 1990s, and Solomon Islands in 2003.
Let me also acknowledge and pay our respect to the traditional landowners of this land that we call Tarama Barracks, that we call home, the Multi-Koitaro people. You're very lucky and privileged to be posted to one PIR. This has always been my opening line every time I welcome a newly posted in officer, and every time I get the opportunity to talk to my soldiers. This is the birthplace of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force, and it is a unit with a lot of history, a proud culture, and a strong sense of esprit de corps.
In the last 10 years, members of 1RPIR have taken the front line in most land security operations for the PNGDF. This included the 2017 national election, the Apex security operation in 2018, and continuous deployments of the troops throughout Papua New Guinea during natural disasters or states of emergencies. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
An incorporated land group in Madang district has announced that they are legitimate landowners of Madang town. The Nop Seseku ILG covers 670 hectares, which is nearly all of the Madang Central Business District, apart from the airport to the main town. The landowner group says it is ready to work with the district and provincial government to bring Madang town back to its glory days.
The mothers dancing at the famous Bates Oval in Madang come from the Nop Seseku ILG. On Saturday, the ILG celebrated the recognition of their ILG as legitimate landowners of Madang town. The town in recent time has been making headlines for murders, ethnic clashes, and more recently political clashes at the Bates Oval. The issue affecting Madang town's reputation as a tourist hotspot, being known as Beautiful Madang.
We will write in front page of Post Korea and national newspaper, main news, national news, MTV, NBC. Only talk to lo kind of passing you got here. Minister story mo ibla ko sa finish ron sa dimito. Na name na good, picture na good, color na good, ibi karem. We will same worry na about. Last 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago time, Prime Minister come with announcement. Long people will come up, and one people relief. Now look how me come up. Behind him, this now this look how me come up. Long background, I need long chairmanship, long leader, long sit down staff. Mr. Swaggy Kalabob. And one blah blah this something. Add on this positive something. Madam, we no good. We will good line.
The chairman of Nop Seseku ILG says he has been fighting in court for 32 years to be recognized as the legitimate landowners of Madang town. The battle over a 6 million kina in compensation from the state.
Me behind him administration. Me behind him court law, court. Me behind him. All them me come through. Me like him. Darabla 4 black men. Tribe must come forward. As from now, me stand by now. No support him. National government me advising finish. Also, Kishimolikam, me ready now. Madang town, now we can talk clear. Every know my state land is a customary land. And in it, love country, mama love country.
With the payments granted by NEC recently, the ILG purchased trucks and presented them to 4 clans under the ILG to allow them to participate as local contractors in the maintenance of Madang Town.
Madang Town, he got power ground. Madang Town right now, he got power ground.
The ILG is also ready to address social issues, with business houses also welcoming the announcement and saying they are ready to work with landowners.
Government now is recognizing this NOP Sekeshu land group. They help him all along sample car and sawmill belong. Also get up in sample business and start belong this something. And one for a way too or talk long or another group only can behind him this fashion, gives him something back belong when him proper ground belong Madang.
Mr. Council staff, you know kind of them. Now place senis. Na plani belum mipla loya, born loya, grow up loya mipla, worry lo disla. But you sabe long that something no much come up blame, it got good problem too.
Adelaide Tari, National EMTV News.
4 vehicles from the Mount Hagen Police Public Safety Division have been grounded for almost a month due to no servicing. Western Highlands Provincial Police Commander Jacob Kamyak said their budget has been affected for almost a year due to the current financial constraints the country is going through. Police in this division are also raising concerns that their safety is at risk when travelling on a public motor vehicle with their uniforms on.
Police from the Mount Hagen Public Safety Division have been hitching rides to attend to issues for nearly a month. All of their 4 vehicles have been grounded because they have not been serviced for over 2 years. PPC Kamyak said petty crime activities are increasing in Mount Hagen City, and with limited resources available, police are trying their best to attend to all the cases reported.
Service provider. The workshops are providing service and maybe I pay more bills now. I'm stopping business now. Now I'm stranded.
While mobile squads and task force units are carrying out their routines of conducting footbeat patrols in the city, police are still short on manpower. Western Highlands Province's population has grown to at least 300,000 people in the 2011 census. This means that one police officer will look after 1,700 people, quadrupling the international ratio of 1 to 400 people.
We can't make miracle. But when we limit the resource, maybe like law, maybe utilize it. Me commanding more policeman, Mary Blomi. Also, respond to any situation in the city now. Me bless a containing more situation. Even law outscared too.
Despite that, major crimes in the province have declined in the last 3 years, with only sexual violence cases increasing. PPC Kamyak said people are also ignorant of reporting cases to police to attend to. He appealed to business houses and the public to partner with police to reduce preventable crimes in the city.
We are trying our best to maintain law and order with the limited resource we black at local. And also, stationaries may blame nil because funding blow me blame will become good from last year too. It's coming up now, so until such time or something come up right now, you may look in.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Here with National EMTV News this Monday, we'll have more of the day's stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. More than 10 homes have been razed to the ground by fire following an ethnic clash between Vunapope settlers and Ramale villagers in Kokopo yesterday. The Vunapope area came to a standstill as the section of the town became a battleground. The attack stemmed from a previous incident involving an elderly man from Ramale village who was allegedly hacked on Saturday. The villagers retaliated and raided the settlers yesterday and set their homes on fire. Police were called in to maintain order. The situation has remained calm since yesterday afternoon, although tensions are still high. The Kiranda Women's Association of Koroba in Hela Province has started a piggery and poultry project to help sustain their families. The project was an initiative of a woman from Kiranda village to help the women in her village and district. At the project launching at 9 Mile in the national capital yesterday, the women's group called on the member for Koroba Lake Kopiago to help fund the project to see it succeed.
It was one woman's dream to help the women and children from her village sustain themselves. Yapili Ubupu comes from Kirinda village in the Koroba Lake Kopiago district of Ela province, but she resides in the nation's capital. With no formal education or business knowledge, she successfully registered Kirinda Women's Association and started a piggery and poultry project to help the women and children in her village.
Mi lugu ose mi no mano rim nangi sape mani no bogi one plus santina. Look lo mama na picking in house. Mama like him this service must go na mi blood organize. This protect basat.
At the project launching yesterday, the project founder Yapili Ubupu said for a very long time they have not received any support from their local member of parliament. Therefore, she has gone out of her own way to do something for herself and the women and children from her village. She called on her local member of parliament to step in and assist her in this project to help the women and children of her village.
Mama cry lo you stop. You know sour lo mama. Please, Pedro Thomas, look sour lo yablu urbu lo pest. You sit down na look lo mama lo kata this the protect bamisati na koda lo koroba tu kopiako. Thank you.
Yapili says the people of Koroba Lake Kopiago depend entirely on garden food as well as pigs and poultry to sustain their lives. She said such a project will enable the women in her village to stand up on their own, to rear pigs and chicken, to put food on their table and to afford other basic necessities.
Support Lord Mary, MB plus Antino, and Lord Mama, I start a place here. All beginners and go school, no got one plus FSC go. So this the work I'm making. Okay, the work and finish him na complete him na. This la talk when me play racing cam lo Petrus na ne. Na I'm support him work and complete na. Me play talk thank you le me play service and by complete him this la work where ya been goran.
Rayon Lakingu National EMTV News.
The Port Moresby Nature Park launched 2 new ticket booths worth 22,000 kina with Red Sea Housing PNG Limited, Electrical Construction and Management and G4S. The booths will play an important role in managing large amounts of visitors entering the park. Michelle Stephen with the details.
With the rise in local and international tourists into the Port Moresby Nature Park, the management and its partners have built 2 new booths for visitors to come through rather than queuing in a very long line. The park's general manager, Michelle McGeorge, says for a very long time they have dreamt of improving the ticketing booths but have never been able to fund it. McGeorge says this dream has come true through the support of Port Moresby's Nature Park's partners.
Open today. Boom. There we go.
We've always managed with the 2 little windows we've got over this side, but you know there are times when, particularly when we are busy, that people have to wait. So you know generally we talk to the staff and we try to have chats to them while they're waiting and queuing. But the goal is that we really want people to have a good experience and be enjoying the park once they come inside. So this will just give us the ability to also have more registers so that we can do that.
Park silver sponsor G4S, through its continuous support, donated 2 new alarm systems to be set up in each booth to ensure that the facility is secured once it's open for the public to use. Red Sea Housing Chief Executive Officer William Mills says as a major sponsor, Red Sea Housing PNG Limited has been providing a substantial amount of support to the nature park over the years.
Ecotourism is something that is in the infancy stages today in PNG, and this is a first taste of what ecotourism is all about in many respects. People that come here, they want to go see the environment, they want to go see nature, and it is difficult at times to see everything that you've encapsulated here in the country. So this is really a first step, and we believe that it's going to continuously grow going forward. As you see more tourism in the country, this is probably going to be the first step that they're going to come to.
So far, this is the 4th project Red Sea Housing PNG Limited has done for the park. Michelle Stephen, National EMTV News.
Torrential rain in East New Britain province over the weekend have yet again caused havoc along the Kokopo-Rabaul road. Residents situated along the area have also raised concerns as their homes are under threat of being washed away if the rains continue. Meanwhile, a submission of 98 million kina from the East New Britain provincial government has been approved by the national government to fix these areas, with work yet to begin.
This might seem like a dead road in a rural area, but it is a waterway created by flash floods in recent weeks at Karavi village, a few kilometers on the outskirts of Kokopo town. It is one of the worst hit areas in the province whenever it rains.
Right now, mi plak big play heavy turu because now all toilet imas buruk on top. Come lo ya smell no guturu. Em say smell. Place em smell. Mi play sleep on top lo smell. Tas all mad smell. All bun blow man we. Emi mas flood emi burukim all sample all graves. Ami plak paini all bun blow all diamond lo here too.
In the past 4 weeks, homes located on either side of this waterway have been at the mercy of nature.
Disaster people come here, they get their photos, the successful photos, assessment report, and we hear that money comes out, yet they don't come back to us.
Along the road, a lone machine is trying to clear debris that were washed onto the road during the weekend's flood. Vehicles are queuing up as they wait to pass through the silt that has covered the bitumen.
Halibim we anit long initiative kilometers so long clean him up just long all traveling public long go come. So today we play walk clean him up this la. But we believe yes inside long this la works by can come in yet na look long halibim. But for the time being we walk long halibim to so long, especially long all traveling public.
On the roadside, silts continue to accumulate. It is an evidence of the effort put into making the road usable over the years. Similar scenarios like this are seen further down the road. It is a vital route connecting Kokopo and Rabaul town. It is understood the East New Britain provincial government under the leadership of Nakigus Konga has sought overseas loans to rebuild this road. Meanwhile, a total of 98 million kina submission from the East New Britain provincial government has gotten approval from the national government to fix this vital infrastructure. A local road contractor that was stationed here to mend the road couldn't do much over the past 6 months. While efforts have been put into addressing the issue of flash floods, it hasn't helped in any big way. If it rains again tonight, they will have to start all over again tomorrow. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
A 21-year-old man living with disability who's currently doing his grade 9 at Ford in Ley says there should be proper institutions available for persons with disability who wish to further their education. Charlie Kerawagi is from Trimbu and is assisted by a helper in a class of over 100 able-bodied students since school began this year. The helper is a volunteer who stands with the teacher and communicates to Charlie when the teacher is teaching.
This is a grade 9 class of over 100 students studying here at the Flexible, Open and Distance Education Center in Ley. Amongst them is Charlie Kerawagi, who has hearing and speech impairments.
Am I born also wanting this disability? Yes, this is the first of its kind that we got a student with disability. Because he's profound deaf, and I think that's one way that we are bridging towards inclusive education. We want to embrace this type of people. This is an opportunity that we have.
Charlie says he's happy to be given a second chance through Ford. The 21-year-old completed his grade 1 to 7 at Markham Road Primary School in Ley and was selected to do his grade 9 at Malang Technical Secondary School last year. Because his family couldn't afford for his school fees, he couldn't go to school. Charlie was enrolled here 3 weeks ago and enjoys class every day because he's not left out. He has a helper who has volunteered to assist him in class.
So I'm just in Silim, but them like him all one class living inside the great in the classroom, all master Yellowstein, so I can communicate one thing in Islam.
This is how the class has been for almost a month. Charlie's helper never gives up.
He continues to communicate with Charlie by relaying what the teacher teaches in class. The school's principal, Nick Raka, says both the national and the provincial government should seriously look into this and provide facilities for persons with disabilities.
We don't have enough facilities to cater for such students like this. Like, for example, this teacher is standing all day. There should be a special allowance in the classroom. We cannot provide that due to finance and all other things, but this problem should be for everyone. The national government and provincial government should come together and build facilities that can cater for such students.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
Still in Morobe Province, round 5 of the polio vaccination campaign in the province began today. According to the Morobe Provincial Program Advisor for Health, Micah Yawing, the delay of the rollout was due to funding issues. However, he said medical teams were in full swing today with the aim to reach the same target as last year. Teams will be stationed in central residential areas this week and will extend to schools next week. Mr. Yawing confirmed that outreach teams have also commenced vaccinations in remote areas of the province. Apart from polio vaccinations, medical teams will also be providing routine immunization, especially for infants. The Provincial Materials and Supply Officer for Morobe, Alabe Saugin, says the Curriculum Department is yet to distribute standard-based curriculum textbooks for students. Students are currently being taught using the Teacher's Guide and syllabus. Teachers nationwide have started implementing SBC this year, but with limited resource booklets. Mr. Saugin added that SBC is only being implemented in lower grades because resource booklets for the upper grades are yet to be designed. Therefore, grades 6 to 7 have resorted to using the old system, the outcome-based education system. Here with National EMTV News, we go for another break. When we come back, we take a look at stories making headlines overseas. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Turning overseas now, heartbreak in Ethiopia and well beyond its borders after a passenger plane crashed into a field, killing all 157 people on board. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 went down just 6 minutes after takeoff from Addis Ababa. The pilot of the Nairobi-bound Boeing 737 MAX 8 reported problems and then was given clearance to turn back.
Nairobi Airport as news of the disaster spread among waiting relatives.
We are very, very saddened. Our heart is broken for this tragic accident.
The wreckage of one of Ethiopian Airways' newest Boeing MAX 8s strewn across charred earth the size of a football field. Some aviation experts say the small spread of debris indicates the plane plunged vertically into the ground.
It came directly from the sky downwards. We heard a huge explosion. There was no fire before it crashed, but once it crashed, we saw a huge cloud of smoke.
Just 6 minutes after takeoff from Addis Ababa, the pilots reported problems at an altitude of less than 1,000 feet.
The pilot mentioned that he had difficulty and he wants to return.
The manifest revealing victims from more than 32 countries, many of them delegates en route to a major conference at United Nations headquarters in Nairobi.
Found out that nearly everybody had passed away, and it was just a frantic rush to work the phones to kind of try and get any information that we could get.
It's the second fatal crash involving a Boeing 737 MAX 8 in less than 6 months. 189 people perished in October when a Lion Air MAX 8 crashed into the Java Sea. The crash raised concerns over the aircraft's onboard computer systems and prompted a global warning from the all-powerful FAA, ensuring pilots knew how to override the autopilot system.
I'd be very curious to look at whether the Ethiopian crews have those manuals with those amendments on, and what training the Ethiopian crews had to deal with this type of issue that caused the Lion Air crash.
Closer to home, Air Fiji says it has full confidence in the airworthiness of its 2 Boeing MAX 8s, which it flies between Nandi and New Zealand. But all of Ethiopia's, China's and the Cayman Islands MAX 8s are out of the air. Our Civil Aviation Authority is now talking to safety regulators in Fiji.
To a frightening encounter now. You'll have to see to believe. A diver in South Africa trapped in the jaws of a massive whale, and it's all been caught on camera. He he lived to tell the tale.
Take a look at this photograph. Those legs dangling out of a whale's mouth belong to Reiner Schimpf. Reiner was taking photos of sharks feeding during the annual sardine migration in South Africa. But as he was concentrating on the sharks, he didn't realize that there was a far larger animal coming to the surface.
Out of nowhere, the whale came up from the side. I realized a split second later that I was inside the whale. It was pitch black. I couldn't see anything.
At 50 feet long, weighing 55,000 pounds, this bride whale could have crushed his ribs or brought him deep under the water.
I thought to myself, well, he can't swallow me because his throat is too small to swallow a human. But obviously he could take me down into the water with the fish.
Reiner filled his lungs with air, preparing for the worst, when suddenly
he just twisted, swallowed the fish, pushed out the water, and with the water he pushed out me, and I was out again.
Last year, another whale made news, capsizing a 20-foot fishing boat in the Atlantic. And last summer, this humpback whale breached right next to a boat. But none of these encounters have been closer than his.
The whale got away with a fright as much as I, but definitely I don't want to be inside a whale again.
A woman who was clawed by a jaguar in the US has apologized to zookeepers after trying to get up close and personal with the animal. She admits she was in the wrong by trying to get a close-up selfie.
This woman's visit to an Arizona zoo turned into a dangerous close encounter on Saturday. Several eyewitnesses saw the unidentified woman step over this barrier at the jaguar exhibit. She was standing against the fence taking a photo when the jaguar clawed her arm. Adam Wilkerson and his mother witnessed the incident and jumped in to help.
My mom runs up and takes her water bottle and she shoves it through the cage near where the jaguar is, and the jaguar goes to let go of the girl, so I grab the girl by her torso and I pull her back.
Witnesses say the woman was left with cuts on her arm. A zoo staff member called 911, and the woman was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. In a tweet, Wildlife World Zoo officials confirmed at no time was the animal out of its enclosure.
People need to understand that these barriers are here, they need to respect them, and when something like this happens, it's a reminder to everyone that these are wild animals and safety needs to be their #1 concern.
American singer R. Kelly had just been freed from jail when a new tape emerged that's claimed to show him having sex with underage girls. This has led to an extraordinary public plea from a lawyer who thinks there may still be more out there.
Just one day after R&B singer R. Kelly was released from jail in his child support case,
we're going to straighten all this stuff out. That's all I can say right now. I promise you.
Another alleged sex tape of Kelly has surfaced, this time with more than one underage girl, according to attorney Gloria Allred.
There was a VHS tape of what appeared to be R. Kelly sexually abusing children.
Allred, who would not comment on whether she has seen the tape, held a news conference in New York with a couple from Pennsylvania who say they found the tape at their home.
I can't get the memory out of my head.
Gary Dennis says he was cleaning out a box of old VHS tapes when he found it.
I noticed a sports tape, but it also had R. Kelly's name on it. R. Kelly appeared to be on the tape, but not in concert. Instead, he was sexually abusing underage African American girls.
Last month, attorney Michael Avenatti said he turned over a tape to Cook County prosecutors that allegedly showed Kelly having sex with an underage girl. Days later, prosecutors announced Kelly had been charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. Kelly pleaded not guilty and has denied any wrongdoing, as he asserted in his CBS This Morning interview with Gayle King.
Have you ever had sex with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
Never?
No.
Despite Kelly's denials, Allred urged anyone who may have an alleged R. Kelly sex tape to turn it over to law enforcement.
Here with Monday's news, we go for a break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Oil Search National Football Stadium has announced the ticket prices for the 11 home games for the SPPNG Hunters. The management is certain that the prices are affordable and will draw large crowd numbers.
The Oil Search National Football Stadium has set new ticket prices for the SPPNG Hunters 2019 home games. The first home game is this weekend when the Hunters take on the Northern Pride at 3 p.m. on Sunday. Oil Search National Football Stadium General Manager Lee Pokorap announced the ticket prices for the 5 stands of the stadium with the introduction of early bird tickets on the East Stand.
The East Stand, 20 kina. Now, if you buy your tickets anytime between tomorrow, because tickets go on sale effective as of tomorrow. If you buy your tickets between tomorrow and prior to game day, you get early bird price for the East Stand. You pay 15 kina. So that's a saving from 10 kina compared to what the pricing was last year. We then have the North and the South Stands at 15 kina per head. We have the Grandstand at 40 kina per head, and the 2 West Wings beside the Grandstand at 25 kina per head.
Venue management and the PNG RFL have agreed on the prices which are deemed affordable to the general public. The idea of early bird tickets is to discourage fans from congesting at the stadium to buy tickets before kickoff.
The key thing here is purchase your tickets in advance when you can. That's why we've put the early bird pricing in there to incentivize people to get into the habit of planning and buying ahead of time.
The stadium is set to host 11 home games, and tickets can be bought at Ticketmaster's outlets in Port Moresby and at the stadium on game day.
You can get your tickets to Hunters games at these physical locations: Brian Bell Barocco Plaza, Brian Bell Home Centre in Gordons, Brian Bell Vision City, J-Mart Irma, and Cool Stuff Waterfront. For those who have access to internet, and if you've got a credit card or a debit card, you can go online to www.ticketmasters.com.pg and make your purchases there.
For those who are eager to have season passes for the 11 home games, they are available for the East Stand and the Grandstand.
The East Stand, 155 kina gets you 11 games. You get a season pass, which is a card which is made of the same material like your license, and you'll have 11 games programmed into it, and you scan it every game just like if it was a ticket. We have a season pass for the Grandstand at 555 kina.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
A team of 4 Japanese surfers left Port Moresby for Buka this morning, accompanied by Surfing Association President Andrew Abel. Their mission: locate surfing hotspots in the autonomous region and market them for visiting surfers from around the globe. SAPNG President Andrew Abel also says that Buka has the potential to host national and international surfing events.
The autonomous region of Bougainville has become the center of attention for SAPNG and TPA-PNG as they look to establish surf tourism on the island. SAPNG President Andrew Abel says the aim of inviting the Japanese tourists to Buka is to identify surfing areas that could potentially become surfing hotspots for visiting surfers from around the world in the future. Not only that, but there are also plans in place by SAPNG to host national and international surfing events. As part of SAPNG's policy, it is really the local custodians that must benefit directly if tourism is concerned, and to boost local economy by engaging local businesses where people can benefit directly from the services.
We intend at some point, once all the protocols are in place in Bougainville, to stage a world championship to a longboard event in Bougainville.
Whether in the West.
Patron of SAPNG, Kiran Nash, says it is a historic moment for SAPNG to set up a foundation in Buka since the association's visit in 2017.
I think very fortunate for the Surf Association to be involved in the development of a new industry there.
Patron for Bougainville Surfing, Simon Pentanu, says Buka is always waiting with open arms to welcome its visitors, and it won't be any different for the Japanese tourist.
But I think in terms of looking after guests, in terms of welcoming people,
I can assure you that it's something that we will do very well, and I think we renowned for our hospitality.
In Buka, the Japanese tourist will visit local communities, attend traditional ceremonies, visit surfing and picnic areas, take photos and videos, and even get to test the surf.
Of course, good place, but we Japanese people want to go Papua New Guinea, want to come to Papua New Guinea, but a little bit difficult to come here because they don't know information and they didn't know.
The Japanese surfers will return to Port Moresby on Friday and return to Japan on Saturday. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go anywhere, we'll have more of Trukai Sports after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The crowd numbers in PNG are still the biggest in the Queensland Intra Super Cup and the atmosphere is more lively. But the management and staff of the Oil Search National Football Stadium are introducing incentives to increase crowd numbers at Hunters home games.
The SPPNG Hunters home ground, the Oil Search National Football Stadium, averaged about 8,000 spectators per game in 2018. That was for the 11 home games. The stadium has a seating capacity of 15,000 and the venue management is targeting an average of 9,000 spectators per match.
Last year, 2018, we exceeded our forecasted crowd attendance by about 1,030 people per game. So we're sitting at around about an average of 8,500 per game. But as an average, this year we're looking at between 8 to 9,000 per game.
A valued experience for ticket purchase is what venue management is hoping will pull in the spectators.
Game day activities. So SB Brewery have taken on the halftime entertainment and they've got some crackerjack events that will really get the crowd on their feet and create a bit of excitement around that. We have the Hastings Deering Kick for Cash, which will happen after the first game.
But the atmosphere at the stadium in Port Moresby is more than that in the Queensland state.
We're the biggest rugby league experience of every visiting team here because they don't have the one great stadium. They feel like they're playing in an NRL club or international event. Secondly, the crowd. The numbers that we have here is basically more, bigger than what they have.
Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League CEO Reata Rao explained that the crowds in Queensland vary from each town, but basically, if it is a Hunters away game, the crowds seem to pick up just a little bit.
For themselves, when they play in Queensland, depending on different teams, for example, Redcliffe, they have a very strong base. They have a very good, area of support, cooperating people. So every Redcliffe game is a good attendance, but I guess you're really looking at an average of about, say, 2,000 to 3,000 maximum, but in country towns, a bit different. Then you have the southeast Queensland area of, say, Logan Magpies, South Logan Magpies, and Tweed, you probably have in 1,000 or 2,000. So, when the league gives us numbers here, you can tell us how, very comparatively, we're a nation that's supporting our team.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports for this evening. We'll have the weather details for the next 24 hours when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. All the centres, Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta, to expect thundery showers over the next 24 hours. To the Momase region, rain and thunderstorms expected in Lae and Wau. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo can expect showers. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers and thunderstorms expected in Lorangau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul. Rain and thunderstorms as well for Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabe can expect thundery showers over the next 24 hours.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Monday the 11th of March 2019. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.